Rubbin minds welcome and this evening conversation. Great to have you here. It's day 377 days since over 200 girls were abducted from the government secondary school in Chibok. They're still not back with their parents. So many promises have been made, so many promises have been streamlined. We're hearing from the president-elect that he's not sure if he will find them, but he will do his best. The outgoing administration says they promised to find the girls. We don't know if they'll be able to do that before they hand over on the 29th of May. But we just keep praying and hoping that the girls get reunited with their families. Especially those who we actually don't even count down to. A lot more girls have been abducted besides the over 200. And we just hope that peace continues to return to the northeastern part of the country. A lot of gains have been made by the security operatives in that part of the country, and we just hope it continues. And we need that sustained for Nigeria to move forward in the future. We're going to be talking a lot about the week that was, as always, and I have two special guests here with me to do that. To my immediate left, Ijomamba, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
And of course, Boladale Adekoya, thanks for coming.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Ijomamba, we're going to start, of course, with the elections. Supplementary elections were held yesterday, yes, across a number of states, I think 11, but 3 for governorship.
Yes.
And those were the ones that stood out for a lot of people because they were 3 very, very, very heated states. 2 very heated, one a little interesting because he had a female candidate. So let's start with Taraba. A lot of people had hoped they were going to have a female governor. In fact, there were even insinuations 2 weeks ago that she had won. There were posters everywhere congratulating her, then we said, oh, it wasn't conclusive, and now she's lost. How does that make you feel?
Well, first, I think it's amazing that a woman even contested in the election. It's still representative that change is definitely, the political landscape is changing. And a woman can, in fact, run, and maybe next time, maybe in the next 4 years, a woman will win the seat.
Yeah, you never know. Were you surprised by the result, though?
Yeah, well, Taraba is actually very interesting. I was not surprised though, though there are rumors of some bit of malpractices. But however, I think the people spoke loudly, and I think their voice was heard.
Yeah. Let's move on now to Imo State, which was also one of the most interesting ones. The incumbent governor with the APC, a party that supposedly has no presence in the southeast, where Imo State is, contesting against the deputy speaker of the National Assembly. It was a very, very interesting dynamic. And APC took the state, so the southeast sort of has a link to the center, like they say. How significant is that?
I think it's very important for Governor Richard Okorocha. I think he's a man of the grassroots, a man of the people, and for the class of my people. And so like governor. So those people that people relate with, and I think they believe he has done well, even in the education sector also. Yeah. So I think they voted for capacity rather than sentiment. I think it is very important we really appreciate and praise the people of Imo State that even the so-called tsunami of PDP in the southeast and south has not been allowed to actually would bring them from the reality of what they want. And I think this is not just about parties, about the capability and the capacity of a particular country and the competency also. I think they've done well by voting Richard Okorocha back.
I see what he says about the individual itself, but how significant it is, because like I said earlier, the Southeast has got a lot of flack from people, especially with the presidential elections, because of how they voted and saying, oh, you guys sold out, or whatever words that have been used. How important is it that an APC state is now in that region? Is it really important? Do we really need that?
I really don't think it's that important, to be honest with you, because Rochas, even in his history, he's switched parties a lot.
About 8 times.
So I think he's an incumbent governor. It did not surprise me that he won. I actually figured he would win. And I think the people still connected with Rochas. So I honestly believe maybe in the next election cycle that it may be a PDP individual. Unless they switch. With
the rates people are crossing over to the PDP. Let's talk about Abiana, which has been the most controversial of all the states. And we know they're definitely going to be going to the courts because so many issues have been thrown up about elections cancelled and then uncancelled and all of that. And eventually, the PDP candidate has been declared winner, Ikpazu. Those results that have come out now, we've seen so many figures interesting in some parts of the states and all of that. Do you think the Abga will really have a case in court if they go to court?
Well, to me, I don't see. Well, they might have. I don't know how evidence-based grievance is his, well, maybe they have evidence to tender in the tribunal or not. But from all indications, at least from the result I've seen, local government like 300 to a lot of thousands, and it has clearly shown that the people still believe that the PDP should rule them. For people that understand the political climate in Abia State, I think they believe more of PDP than the ABGA. So we've been having the coffins and the fowls being turned around and the rest. And I think most, but I think not only because the government has done a lot, but because if you look at the newly elected governor, Ikweazu, is from a local government region that has not produced governor. So they believe it's their time and people rallied around them, apart from the Alesoti. I was looking for Alesoti though, because I believe it's someone that is. But however, I think the people have spoken and it is their choice. And I respect that.
I want to talk about something you mentioned there, which, I mean, coming from the Oba of Lagos's comments a couple of weeks ago to what happened in Abia State where coffins were dropped, threatening people that if you voted against Ngwa interests, this coffin will be your lot, you know, things like that. Those sorts of statements with politicians not necessarily coming out to stand strongly against them, almost sort of characterized the elections this year. Yes,
and it's very upsetting. I think, you know, the populace, we're definitely a lot more educated. So even though the issues with the coffins, you know, the Oba Lagos saying happened in the Lagoon, people still voted. They didn't care. They weren't afraid. You know, we're past that. We're really past that. You can't just intimidate Nigerian people anymore. Now you have to come with, you know, a real position on what you're really going to do to impact change in communities.
Yeah. Do you think we're really there, though? Do you think we're really at a point where people have voted based on what the candidates sold them?
Well, I would say we're in between. I call it in between development. So we're almost there, but definitely I think people are more inclined to vote, you know, for the person that really want.
I asked that because, I mean, you talked about the governor-elect for Abia State now being from a region that had never produced a governor before. So those sentiments played into the fact that, okay, it's our turn. You also had a case in Taraba where people said, oh, she's Muslim. She can't be a governor in a predominantly Christian state. So whatever the PDP guy sold might not have been why he won. You know, things that people are just saying, sentiments and, you know, all of these things still matter a lot as against what the candidate is selling.
Of course it does. These are, especially for the Nigerian political system, I think these are basic elements that determines who actually becomes get elected in Nigeria. They've been part of us even right from independence, and I think it's still a greater part of the system. So I think region is very important because there's everybody is an inclusive government. Everybody wants to be partakers in, and there's this notion which I really have been growing that if you're going to comes from a particular region, it tends to develop that region more. So they want to even development around the state. So of course, I
want to have a background now. It doesn't do anything. The talk has passed.
The talk has passed now. So and again also on the latter part also for a Christian, we should not take away the regional differences from this issue. It's going to be very hard for you to see a Christian government in Sokoto State. I'm going to be very plain with you. It's going to be very hard for you to see. So same way also, the people of Taraba might feel, okay, God, we are generally Christians also. There's no way we want a Muslim. So there should be a kind of, it's still a long shot. But however, I think we've seen a bit of difference now. And, you know, there are rotations. Even in Lagos State also, Muslims and a Christian. In Lagos State also, Muslim, Christian. And I think it's been working.
Looking at the governors-elect so far, generally, not just the three who were just elected supplementary, all over the country. I was talking last week, I had a couple of guests here, and we were talking about their CVs. The one thing I know that stands out for most of them is they have crazy intimidating CVs. Professors, doctors, everywhere. Some have 3 master's degrees, you know, their profiles are quite impressive. But sometimes you say academics are not necessarily performers, so you don't know what to expect. But is that the right step that we're taking with people who are this sound academically?
See, that's what shocked me about Abia State, because I really thought, really had a chance. But I really thought he had a chance. You know, former managing director of Diamond Bank, and seeing the stuff that he's done there, it really surprised me. So I think the election tribunal there is going to be very interesting.
Yes.
And the people are really unhappy. So I think, you know, it really goes with who's really working, who's connecting with the people as well. There's that sentiment still. And we're still trying to balance that with maybe our own feelings and our own discriminatory feelings towards people like Christian, Muslim, depending on
even these things in advanced economy still matter. People still vote sentimentally. Oh, we have a first black president. We're excited about it regardless of what he has to say. So things like that would always matter, wouldn't it?
They do, but I think it's also up to the people as well, and also maybe even during the campaign process, during the campaigning, to also for people running for office to say, hey, we're past this. This is what I'm going to do. Push more, push their manifestos a bit more to the people. And I think, especially in Abia, I think it was surprising because, unlike what you said, there's a lot of negative sentiment towards the PDP. People were really unhappy. They felt that this
majority of the people.
I want to say
voted for the PDP.
yes, but I want to say there was I guess I would say there's strong feelings of sentiment, and I want to say maybe enough to even turn the election, but we'll see. We'll see. The people voted. PDP won, and I just hope going forward in the future that he does bring change to Abia State.
We're interested to see how he works because he has a lot. When you have when you win an election, that's sort of a disputed way.
Yes.
You have a lot of work there to do.
And of course, bring people together.
Yes.